I'm gonna ask you about the minutes because it's required. It's on the record that you're taking.
Yeah.
We record. Okay. Welcome to the March 28th, 24 meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. My name is Anton Malner and I'm the Vice Chair of the committee. Tonight, we are joined by District Manager Jesus Perez and Community Coordinator Ryan Lafferty. This meeting is called to order at 6:32 p.m. As a reminder, New York State law requires all community board members who are not able to attend this meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you may raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. For the record, minutes are being taken by
David Lowenstein.
Okay. We will not take attendance by roll call. Brian Lafferty will conduct the roll call.
Thank you, Anton. Committee members, I'll call your name. When your name is called, please say present. I will announce if there's quorum. Claire Brennan. Yep. See her. Gerald Jones. Don't hear anything. Paige Judge.
Present.
Thank you. John Keller is excused. Or not attending, I should say. David Lowenstein.
Present.
Thank you. Anton Malner.
Present.
Thank you. Ann Seligman.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got that reference. Susan Steinberg is excused. Sarah Whittington.
Present.
Thank you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you.
Do that.
If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The meetings for the October 26th, 2023 meeting and the February 29th, 2024 meeting. Wait a minute, they're still under review?
Yes, Claire has said.
Are under review, they will be considered at the next meeting. Okay, in order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. 3, committee members unable to attend in person. If you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. 4, all committee members, it is extremely important that only one person speak at a time so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. The chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Tonight's agenda. Agenda item number 1, new application for an on-premises license for Lele's New York City. Doing business is not applicable at this point in time at 237 Madison Avenue. Right. Do we have representative for Lele's here?
Yes, you do.
Um, just one question I have from my side. On your SLA application, 30-day notice, you indicate that you will have live music, whereas on the CB6 form, you indicated you only have recorded music. Could you enlighten us there?
Mr. Raphael.
Hey, how you doing, Raphael?
This is Mr. Clenord Raphael. He's the principal of Lele's. That was an error on our part.
It's just DJ. This be regular DJ music.
So you will have live music?
No, no live music.
Oh, just recorded music. Okay.
Yeah.
Having that clarified, there are any questions from any of the committee members? And are there any questions from the general public?
I don't see any hands
Okay,
raised.
all right. All in favor of, I need to call for a resolution here, no objection?
Motion objecting.
Second.
Okay,
Brian will pull up the resolution.
So we have a resolution, of no objection, for a new on-premises license for Lele's NYC LLC, doing business as, Lele, L-E-L-E, is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Whereas Carrie John Katsourhis, attorney, and Clenard Raphael, principal, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on March 28th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises of the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a restaurant, is that descriptive enough?
That's correct,
Okay.
sir.
And whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. and Friday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m.
okay, we have Sunday through Thursday, 11 to 12,
Oh,
and then Friday, Sunday.
that should be Saturday.
uh,
Friday and Saturday. excuse me.
Saturday.
That's my error. 11 to 4 a.m. That's correct. Okay. We don't have any,
Question or discussion about 4 a.m. No, it's not a problem, but I'm just saying like
That's the
that was 4 a.m.
That's not an issue, it's
Yeah.
a commercial street.
I think Paige has her hand raised, it looks like. Hold on 1 second.
Yes, I do. I'm questioning, okay, about the 4 a.m. You said this is a restaurant. What type of a restaurant and why 4 a.m. for a restaurant on Madison Avenue?
You're absolutely correct. And we have no objection to, we just wanted the opportunity to stay till 4, but the last call for dinner will be at 12 o'clock. But we just wanted the option to stay later, but 2 a.m. closing would be appropriate.
Does the committee,
Change
I
that.
have no objection to that, change it to 2 a.m.
Yes,
Okay, we'll all read it.
Thank you, Paige.
2 a.m. Okay, are there any stipulations that the committee wishes to include?
That any music is to be recorded music only?
correct, with the DJ.
I think, Paige, I'm sorry, do you have your hand raised again? Oh.
No, I'm trying to put it down.
Oh,
Whereas the applicant indicated that their establishment would utilize recorded music only. And no live music. Is that
We had
acceptable?
originally contemplated on having no more than a three-piece ensemble on some days. And that was the only reason why it may have been put in the original application. Would it be permissible to have a limitation such as that?
We're talking Sunday afternoons.
I'm talking about, for dinners. The place was not going to be open until 4 o'clock in the morning, and just wanted to have the opportunity, if we could, to have no more than a three-piece ensemble, be it a bass, a guitar, a violin, a piano, anything like that, should the need arise.
Seems reasonable to me.
That's reasonable to me.
Yeah,
The ambiance would be a hell of a lot better, excuse my language, if we had something like that available to the patrons.
Can I ask what type of a restaurant is this?
It's going to be a Caribbean restaurant, first class, 5-star.
5-star Caribbean restaurant.
Okay, is it insulated? Do you have
Yes.
Yes.
music?
Soundproof.
Soundproof.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because we don't want to have you back saying there have been complaints.
No, we don't want to be back for that complaint.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
in the world of AI, isn't live music better than recorded anyway?
Okay,
Give those artists
Okay.
a chance.
I always thought that the beauty of going to a restaurant was to talk to the people that you're out dining with, not to
Well,
listen to
there is
music.
that.
utilize recorded music or no more than a three-piece.
Yeah.
acoustic.
Correct.
That's,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Correct.
Acoustic keyword there.
Or no more than a three-piece,
Amplifiers. Well, that's why acoustic.
a three-piece acoustic? or-
Acoustic ensemble,
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good.
so no electric guitars.
No.
No, we don't want a jam session. We just want nice background music.
Okay.
no steel drums,
Well,
Caribbean.
if it is a Caribbean restaurant,
No members of the community have any comment for events?
yes, we have no members of the community with any comments or against.
be separated from.
Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on, March 28th, 2024. And pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. Be it further resolved, we have our disclaimer, standard disclaimer here that if the SLA application differs in any way from what's been presented to us this evening, then we oppose the granting the license.
Okay, so take a roll call vote.
So now take a roll call vote. When I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
thank you. Gerald Jones is not with us. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. John Keller is not with us. David Lowenstein.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Malner,
In favor.
thank you. Ann Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Susan Steinberg is not with us. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining because you're not entitled, motion passes.
Very
Thank you.
good. Thank you,
Can I
gentlemen.
ask that you just correct the date on the step? I think it was a misspelling there.
Oh, yes. Mhm. Let me just share that again so you can see. So I've corrected it.
Thank you.
tomorrow. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will you be emailing that to us?
It's going to go to the next vote for this is at the full board meeting of
I
this
see.
on April 3rd. So starting April 4th and April 5th, we'll start formatting it and sending it off to the SLA. We typically don't send it to the applicants, but if you'd like us to, we can send you a copy.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your courtesy. A pleasure to meet all of you. Good evening.
Good evening.
We can make a note to send it to them.
Okay, item number 2, new application, temporary retail permit for wine, beer, cider license for KP New York Operations LLC, doing business as not applicable at 99 Lexington Avenue. Do we have representatives for KPNY?
Yes, I am here.
Now, your hours of operation are going to be Monday through Sunday, noon to 10 o'clock in the evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I noticed that you indicate that you're not in a residential building, but if you take a look at the Google picture, it looks like this is a residential building.
Sir, I have not seen, I don't see any residents here. I'm not sure about it. Because I'm, I keep on traveling a lot and I'm not sure about what is at the top.
Are you going to be operating in the restaurant space that's at the corner?
Yes.
All right. To me, that's a residential building. Have you reached out to the residents of the building?
With regards to, sir, the license,
Yes, concerning the license.
Yes.
Yes.
Letting them know that you're going to, you seek to move in there and open up a liquor establishment.
no, we haven't done it because my establishment is there like past 12 years. So we have been in this location like past 12 years and we are not new for them. And I'm not sure who the residents are on the top because I'm not in touch with them at all.
Okay, I'm a little confused here. The establishment on the corner, is that your establishment?
Sir, I just took it under my hands. Before this, there were another operators, but the name is same.
Okay, so now you will be the new operator of this restaurant operation that's in this residential building.
Yes.
Okay. And are you related any way to the prior owner, or is this a new restaurant that you're going to be opening in this particular space?
Sir, the restaurant has the same name. I'm not related to the prior owners, like they were the partners within themselves. And I just, bought from them all these shares for this company.
And this restaurant that's there now has been in place for how many years, you said?
Since 2013, so 10 years.
10 years, okay. Well, I don't have any issues about residential notification since the restaurant has been in there for 10 years, 11 years now.
Well, does the existing, I do have a question on that.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Does the existing restaurant have music?
Does the existing restaurant have music?
We just have the soft recorded music, like through the MP3 player. That's it.
Just like background music?
Yeah, just the background music. Yes.
Is that true with the previous restaurant also the same?
Yeah, it is exactly as it is. Only the owner is changed. Like I bought all the shares from them because they wanted an exit after the COVID. They are not from here. They are from different countries. So I am local here. So I just bought it from them.
Do any other committee members have a question?
I do.
Yes, Paige.
Okay. Is the food going to be the same as that was in the former restaurant?
Yes, exactly the same.
Okay, will you be reachable if anybody has any questions.
Yes, of course, I'm always
Okay.
reachable.
We ask that you put your name and your home telephone number and number that you'll be 24 hours be able to be reached in the window. So people in the neighborhood, if they do have a concern, have someone to
Mhm.
speak to.
Okay,
Do you agree?
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you.
Yes,
Sarah. I'm wondering, who will be the manager and what about the staff that will be there? Are you just making that, transition or what is going on with that particular piece to this?
We have managers in place at the restaurant. So the manager before who used to work, he already left America, like he's no more in United States. So we promoted one of the other member of the team to the management level, like as a manager, I would say.
are there any questions from the general public?
I don't see any raised hand.
Okay, do I have a resolution of no objection?
Motion to,
Second.
oh, I think Paige beat me to it.
Okay, we'll go to the resolution. Okay, so we have a resolution of no objection for a new wine, beer, and cider license with a temporary permit for KPNY Operations LLC, doing business as Kailash Parbat at 99 Lexington Avenue. I'm sorry, can you, I think we just have you're a representative, sir, and your name?
Gary, Gary.
Sorry, I should say principal, Gary.
Mulchandani, it's MULCHAND as in David, sir.
Oh, D.
ANI.
Okay, and you are the principal,
Yes.
and are you joined by an attorney this evening?
No, I'm just alone, sir.
Okay. Whereas Gary Mulchandani, principal, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on March 28th, 2024. CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises and the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as an Indian restaurant, is that correct?
Yes, Indian vegetarian restaurant.
Indian vegetarian restaurant.
Yes.
Sorry, here's that. Whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are, I believe it said 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week.
Yes.
Okay. And we wanted to include a stipulation about contact information in the window, or
Whereas the applicant has pledged to display contact information for himself or a manager on site. In the establishment window. I feel like the 24 hours a day should be
Yeah,
in there somewhere, but I've sort of
Well, I'm not
lost
the,
my
or
way
couldn't
there.
it really be during hours of operation?
During hours, yeah, during hours. of
Excuse me, in the past, we've always said 24 hours. The reason being because sometimes they don't answer the phone because of the noise that is in an establishment. They don't answer the phone. They say, we can't hear it. So you're best off that you can get them at any time.
Okay.
So should we have done this in the previous
We've
resolution?
done this all the time that I've been on the committee, which is 24 years.
Correct. I'm just saying we did not do it in the previous one where they were talking about having live music. We
It's
should
listed
have-
on the website that it's a requirement of all.
So it's part of
applicants,
the-
So it's not, it's kind of redundant to put it in here, but I think if there's like certain, locations where we really want them to post the sign, sure, we could put it in the resolution, but I don't think it needs to be in any resolution technically.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So then do we leave it or do we take it out? It's for the
I mean,
committee.
this is part of the application process, and it does have, it does have it. I don't think we need it done.
I don't
Okay.
think so either. Mhm.
Okay, so we're all agreed. And any other stipulations? Or? No. Whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on March 28th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. Be it further, and then, again, I'm sorry, our last standard disclaimer, further resolve clause is just stating again that if there's anything in the SLA application that is different from what has been presented to us this evening, then we will oppose the application.
So, take a roll call vote, please.
Yeah, I'll take a roll call vote. When the name is called, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or abstain for cause not entitled. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
thank you. Paige Judge,
In favor?
thank you. David Lowenstein,
In favor.
thank you. Anton Malmer,
In favor.
thank you. Anne Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor?
thank you. With 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining for causes not entitled, the motion passes.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. Good luck.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a new application, a temporary retail permit for a beer and cider license for Fresh Kitchens Incorporated, doing business as to be determined. I believe it's Fresh Kitchens at 265 Madison Avenue. Is there a representative for Fresh Kitchens?
I think you're on mute. There
Can you
are.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, I have my really only question about this is on this CB6 application form. It indicated that an owner or owners has had a liquor license revoked. Is this true?
No, I don't think so. Hold on a second. Did I indicate it?
There's a checkbox on the Community Board 6 questionnaire that says, have you ever had a liquor license revoked? And it was checked yes.
No, that's not true. No, that might be a mistake.
Brian has the form and can pull it up so that everyone can see it. To jog everyone's memory. That was the previous.
Yeah. so-
That was, I think I made a mistake on that.
Is there someplace?
Yes,
because
we do have it. Here it is.
There it is.
All right. So you answered yes to the question, have any of your principals, owners, or investors had any
No,
past?
no, that was a mistake. The answer must be no.
Have they had any other establishments?
He had the Fresh Kitchen, same business as 270 Madison Avenue since 2017, and then he is relocating to 256 Madison Avenue. He had a similar business. It's exactly the same business at that location. And then since the rent is kind of high, and then he's relocating to 256 Madison Avenue.
256 or
56?
265?
He used to be 270 Madison Avenue since 2017, and then he is moving to 256 Madison Avenue about a year ago, and then he spent the whole year to renovate it, and then he finally, I think it's a couple of years ago, and then we actually applied for the grocery beer license. We are expecting just selling to go, but during the constructions, and then we realized that we have about 20 sittings, and so actually, New York State Liquor Authority approved for the grocery beer, but we withdraw the applications, and then we are applying for the eating place beer. So people can sit, and also we can sell beer to go.
So in other words, during the construction, you've just changed addresses in the same building.
Oh, is it? Just give me a second.
Brian, could you bring up the Google?
Sure, yeah, so just on the questionnaire, you put 265 Madison Avenue, not 256. And
Hold a
then,
second. I might be 265. I guess. It's a 265. I'm sorry.
okay, so it is 265. So it is this building here
That's
Two-
exactly, yes.
on the corner.
All right, so let me understand this. You were located at 270 Madison Avenue, and now you're at 265 Madison Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Right next to Monkey's Locksmith.
Yes. Did you have a liquor license at 270 Madison Avenue?
Yes, we had the eating place beer.
So this is where they used to be,
Okay,
across the street. And this is where they're moving.
okay, so basically across the street.
Yes,
So, okay, so you gave up your liquor license at 270 Madison Avenue, and you're applying for a liquor license at 265 Madison Avenue. Is that
yes,
correct?
we closed on 270 Madison Avenue, and then we are opening at 265 Madison Avenue. And then we are applying the new eating place beer license.
And it should probably be mentioned in the record, in the minutes, that the principal, though it was indicated in the questionnaire, had a license revoked, that the record, it's not.
Yeah, that was.
Do any committee members have any more questions? Yes,
I
sir.
have a question. It's not really about the license, but are you affiliated with the Fresh Kitchen on Third Avenue on 45th Street?
No, I don't think so, no.
No, because it has the same, like the same name, it has the same, the logo, the signage.
We had like 3 people, the family members. I think they open up, they had similar businesses around.
Got it. All right, thank you.
But you're not directly involved in the Third Avenue location?
He's not involved.
And vice versa, yeah.
Do I hear a motion of no objection?
Motion of no objection.
Second.
Go up to Rizzo. So we have a resolution of no objection for a new beer and cider license with a temporary permit for Fresh Kitchen Inc., doing business as Fresh Kitchen at 265 Madison Avenue. Whereas J.U. representative appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on March 28th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a delicatessen, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days a week, is that correct?
That's correct.
Do we have any stipulations that we wish to include on this?
Just the discrepancy. Or does it matter that we like highlight that they made an error in the?
Well, if it's in the minutes.
Yeah.
It's covered by the disclaimer at the end also.
Yeah, if it's in the minutes, and my concern that is it might do them damage if it's
Yeah.
on a resolution.
Mhm.
Okay. Whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee on March 28th, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations, made by the representative to the committee. And their standard disclaimer that if there's anything in the SLA application that differs from what has been represented to us this evening, then we oppose. I'll take a roll call vote. When your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain, or abstain for cause not entitled. Claire Brennan,
In favor.
thank you. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. David Lowenstein.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Mullen,
In favor?
thank you. Ann Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. With 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 abstaining for cause and non-title, the motion passes. Well,
Thank you.
very much. Good luck.
Thank you again.
Okay, the next order of business, has been withdrawn cannabis retail dispensary license for Elizabeth Cruz, doing business as Life Charms. Issues that, was there a reason given?
Yes, it was. As you may know, OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, released a map resource, a tool on their website that maps the establishments, the cannabis establishments that have received licenses from OCM, as well as pending applications that have received what they call location protection or distance protection. I forget what the term they used is. Proximity protection, which, if you recall, in the law, once a dispensary is licensed properly, that sort of creates a 1,000-foot force field around it, and no other establishments of that kind can be placed within it. Some of these pending licenses are appearing on the map, not as having received their licenses yet, but we suppose being close enough to get that protection. It seems like in this case, the applicant who would have appeared tonight saw that her establishment was a couple of doors down from one of these proximity protected places and decided to withdraw. Now, we asked OCM, hold up, what does this mean? Does pending means pending? So unless pending is going to mean, fait accompli or, all but a formality to be approved, is someone withdrawing this application just because they see there's a proximity protection around a nearby business? Is it premature? Should they really come to us? Should they come to us anyway? I'm afraid that the response we got from OCM was not clear or super helpful. But in the end, if this applicant has consulted with their attorneys and their, whoever they're getting guidance from, and has been advised or has chosen to withdraw their application, it's withdrawn. We informed the Office of Cannabis Management that it was withdrawn, just so they are aware. And so if it ever pops up again, we made it a point to ask, because initially the communication we got from the applicant was a little vague. And we asked them,
About the.
will you say that are you saying you are withdrawing? And they said, yes, we are withdrawing, so that if it ever comes back, we have evidence that it was withdrawn.
Right.
We have been hearing reports from other community boards that there are businesses appearing on here that they have never heard of. Who have
Showing
never
that
come-
they have this protected status.
that they have protected status or have been awarded licenses without ever having said anything to the community board. Fortunately, of the handful of pending,
The yellow or the pending?
the yellow or the pending, of the handful of pending ones that we have in our district, we have heard of them. So that doesn't appear to be an issue for us. Though if the community boards get together and want to issue a letter to OCM, obviously it'll be up to the board to decide whether they want to participate.
Yeah.
But, so it was this map essentially that came out a couple of weeks ago that seems to have been the impetus for the applicant withdrawing.
Paige, did you have a comment?
Oh, you muted yourself, Paige. You're muted, hold on. You're still muted.
She's passing.
She gave
Gave
up.
up.
Okay, never mind.
But in that situation, somebody might look at for in a different location. Right.
Yes, our understanding is that applicant had gone before CB5 for a location in that community district. But it did not meet preset requirements that that board had, and so it was rejected there. So we will see.
Okay. All right, any questions about Life Charms? The OCM?
Entertaining hand trades.
Okay. Speaking of the Office of Cannabis Management, I drafted a resolution. I think we've all been concerned, including Public Safety Committee, that we have all these unlicensed cannabis establishments opening up. And there has not seemed to be a strong effort to shut them down. And I think the last I heard is like 1,300 in New York City itself. And there are only about 72 actual licensed cannabis establishments. Now, I know some council members, Judy Menon, for instance, has been pushing the sheriff's department and other law enforcement and has been successful in closing some of the illegal cannabis shops in her district. Because of this proliferation of cannabis shops and the, I guess, lax or non-enforcement of the cannabis rules about opening unlicensed shops, Assemblywoman Jennifer Rajkumar and Councilmember Keith Powers in their respective areas have introduced bills that would enhance the enforcement of the cannabis regulations and in terms of trying to close these illegal shops. Now, I'm sure we all know, if you open a restaurant, you start serving liquor without a liquor license, you get shut down almost immediately. This has not been the case with cannabis shops. Now, this may not, these resolutions or these laws that are being proposed may not do that immediately, but it appears as at least the first step in trying to close down more efficiently these illegal shops. So I think I'd like to present this resolution to this committee that we support both Jennifer Rajkumar's Assembly Bill 8422A and Keith Powers in 124323.
It's, that was the old bill. It was reintroduced and now it's,
we get those?
until 390, the reso, yes, 397, 2024.
What's the new one? I missed that because it wasn't up on the website.
0397.
Okay, anyway, with that update, I think all members of this committee would be in favor of that. And I think it's something we should also bring up with the Public Safety Committee, and I sent a copy of this to them. And hopefully we will have this introduced as a full board resolution the next time the board meets as a full body. We have been struggling for many months now, as has other community boards, not only in the licensing requirements, but also the issues of public safety. These unlicensed shops, we don't know what they're selling. We've heard instances where they're selling to underage people, adulterated products. And it was very interesting that some of the shops that have been closed down were not so much because they were selling illegal cannabis, but they were also selling untaxed cigarettes. And that was even a faster impetus to close them down than for having illegal cannabis. Anyway, do I hear any comments or questions?
And I'm sorry, I missed that link, so I haven't read the legislation, but my understanding was that basically it's a conflict because only the state can shut down these unlicensed ones, there's no sort of local presence.
Well, one of these bills will enable the local
Terrific,
community to do that.
yeah.
We've
So
sent,
that was like the
we've sent you
other-
the attachment again.
One of the issues
Oh,
we
thank
have,
you.
right, in terms of closing down these shops is that the city of New York would say it's the state, and the state would say it's local, and they haven't been talking to each other. And this is one of the reasons that these illegal shops can just go under the radar. And until there's I'd say a stronger mandate, we're probably gonna see more illegal cannabis shops, but at least this is a start. Whether this will slow things down or actually reduce the number of illegal shops remains to be seen. But there's gotta be stronger enforcement, not only stronger enforcement, but you gotta have the budget for more people, more enforcement to be able to take care of this dire situation.
There's certainly fewer and fewer applicants coming before us, so hopefully that's a symbol.
I think that's more a function of the application period. There was a certain window and that window
Okay.
closed.
It'll be
Another
interesting to
window
see.
may open up again at some point, in which case we should
Sure.
expect a.
Now, from another point of view, this is just for the illegal shops. We still are struggling, as many community boards are, as to what the OCM is looking for from the community boards. And some community boards have said, thrown their hands up, so we're not even gonna look at this. You don't listen to us, why bother? I think this is a larger issue than our community board. And I know, since you've been at least one meeting where this is brought up and it's still unresolved.
Well, I think the question of, do they listen to us? We may soon have some answers, because this map that shows us approved and pending licenses, I asked Brian to look through them, because there are only a handful, and see of the ones that are there, one, have we heard from all of them? We have, so that's good. And two, what is it that we said in the resolution? Was it a no objection? Was it an objection? And I believe, Brian, you said that one of them was the one near Stuytown, was
Marion Canyon News.
an objection from this board. but it remains to be seen whether it will be an objection from the Office of Cannabis Management, but we'll be able to get some numbers and see, okay, a ratio of this to this, they seem to heed our advice.
To build up the case file, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear a resolution of no objection or to accept?
I am in support of it, but I was curious, you mentioned that Community Board 5 has some preset,
Yes.
I wonder if that might be something we would wanna talk about, if that's something we would wanna.
Well, as
I
I
mean, it's a little bit
understand,
different than
the
this.
rules they made is that it's tighter than what's in the law. Right? Now, I'm not so sure that we as a community board can put in rules that are tighter than what's allowed. I think that would open us up to litigation. I mean, somebody comes in and says, well, the law says 500 feet and you said 300 feet. I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to do that.
Well, I mean, the board could put, whatever they want in their resolution. The OCM can then we'll disregard that because that's not in conformity with the law. CB5, one of the reasons why they made these requirements, these preset standards, were because they were getting many, many times more applications than we were. There are some that were getting dozens and dozens and dozens. And so they felt that, at least in part, that one way to sort of go through all of these is just say, we have this set criteria. Do you conform to that or do you not? If you don't, rejection. If you do, we'll see. But that's part of the reason. And so these requirements, which you can see on their website, this applicant did not conform to those, and so it was rejection.
Okay. All right, and here's in terms of a resolution that has been written by a member of the committee, does that have to go? We have to approve that, I presume, before
Yes.
it goes to the full board.
You have to discuss it, you have to be okay with it. Two tips I would give. The final two resolve clauses that make specific mention of the assembly and the city council, I would add just a little clarification. Like, for example, in the assembly one, we want you to adopt this legislation, make it clear that it's the assembly version of the bill. And in the city council one, this legislation, make it clear that it's the city council intro. Those who are used to this sort of stuff will put the pieces together and assume that's what you mean, but it never hurts to just spell it out.
I thought I did that because I had two, be it resolved and be it further resolved, one of them being for the assembly bill and the other one being for, where was it, city council? Yeah.
I always try and err on being crystal clear, absolutely, overly clear if possible. So essentially what would happen is, let's say the second to the last, whereas we have further resolved Manhattan Community Board 6's Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. First of all, it has to be Manhattan Community Board 6, because once you get to the board, the committee is not saying something, the board is, so we need to change that.
Okay.
But Manhattan Community Board 6 urges elected officials in the New York State Assembly and Senate, along with the governor, to adopt A842. Or urges the our state legislature, if you want to condense it even further, but along with the governor to adopt, but make some mention in that in that resolve clause of the actual bill number, just to be crystal clear. And the same thing goes for the one referring to the city council.
Okay.
Need a motion here?
I mean, the formal ways one would make a motion to amend and all that stuff, but if you're all right with, being loosey-goosey a little bit.
The only thing I actually might wanna add under the last whereas, like a public nuisance, that's like like somebody peeing on a lamppost, you know, like I mean, this is, you know, it might be worth mentioning that the penalties include temporary closing orders. You know, public nuisance punishable by a temporary closing order.
These whereases seem to be describing what is in the legislation. I'd
Yeah,
be careful.
that's, no, that, I just took that
Oh.
from the
From the
legislation.
So, publicly, I'm sorry.
Punishable,
Punishable,
punishable by, would make the above mentioned public nuisance subject to temporary closing orders and temporary restraining orders.
Subject to. Public
Yeah,
nuisance-
subject
public
to might
nuisance
be
subject
better,
to.
yeah.
subject to temporary,
Is it permanent or temporary?
It says temporary, which I'm like, really? Why temporary? Oh, no, actually, I take that back. That's for under 21-year-olds, it's temporary. For, without proper registration, permit, et cetera, subject to permanent and preliminary injunctions.
So it seems like if you start to
If you-
introduce that specificity, you kind of have to go all the way.
Public nuisance implies all these
All right.
repercussions.
And if these things get passed, then all that stuff will come with it anyway.
Yeah.
But again, it's up to the committee to decide.
I don't have any skin in the game, I just,
Okay.
I would vote to keep it at public nuisance, just for clarity.
So Anne, do you withdraw your amendment?
I do.
You know,
It's okay,
actually, this kind of
it's-
stuff probably is the kind of thing that should happen in committees more often. You know, you really look at this stuff, because you are sending this off as a work product to other agencies. And we do want to put our best foot forward, we actually got a call from the Department of City Planning in another committee, but congratulating us on the thoughtfulness of our resolution. So we really want to
Wow.
actually put some thought into this. From the director of city planning himself, so.
Who knows this all well?
So they do read these. They do read these.
one thing I know, do we want to say supports for both, therefore be it resolved, or urges for both, or do we want to keep it?
I would keep it as supports.
Well, they're saying different things. You can support the legislation and then you urge it to be passed.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I understand.
So has this been, is someone gonna move this and second it?
Motion to support.
Second,
I second.
So we'll take a roll call vote. Ready, call your name, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain for cause or not entitled. Claire Brennan,
in favor.
thank you. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. David
In
Lowenstein,
favor.
thank you. Anton Mullen,
In favor.
thank you. Ann Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor?
thank you. Out of 6 votes in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, 0 abstaining for cause or not entitled. So the motion passes.
Thank you, Anne.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for writing that.
Okay, next order of business is Chair's report. Just one thing I'd like to bring up on the 26th, I attended a Zoom meeting about the open restaurants program called Dining and they have created a portal called Dining Out Portal and gone through it, was discussed. And actually it looks very good, and many of the objections or the questions we had as a committee and as a board in terms of where these facilities, either on street or on sidewalk, have been addressed by the city and the DOT. And as I think said last month, the only thing that really wasn't included, which many people in the prior Zoom meeting had asked for, was that these restaurants which are granted the opportunity to have seating either on the street or on the sidewalk would provide public facilities, restrooms, and be open to the public, but that apparently didn't make it through.
Yeah.
No way.
Say good luck with that one.
Okay, I urge you all to take a look at the new portal. There is a separate part of the portal which is only available to community boards, which would enable us to make comments directly onto the portal. And Jesus, I think you are already informed of this, and it's something that we could work with in the future when we see these types of applications. This is far ahead of what the New York Cannabis Control Board is at this moment in time. Okay, that's all I have in terms of the chair's report. However, we do have some old and new business. First, I'd like to welcome two members of the committee, Ann Seligman and Sarah Whittington. I'll get it right. I'm getting old. Takes me a long time to remember names.
You're doing great.
And so welcome to the committee, and I hope you'll both be active members of the committee. Our next meeting was scheduled for April 25th, which is right in the middle of Passover. So my question to the committee members is, are we okay with that?
No.
Seders are on the 22nd and 23rd, at least in my
Correct.
household.
Yeah.
So the 25th is already 2 days later than that, but it still falls within the Passover holiday week. I'd like to hear any comments, if anybody has any,
Paycheck.
Paige, do you have a comment or?
I think we should change it out of respect.
Well,
I have no issue with that. I mean,
The issue is there aren't a lot of dates
Yeah.
in that month. They're all pretty much taken. And while there is a resolution that the board passed 2 years ago that sort of actually gives clear guidance as to when to reschedule and when to not, it's the first two Seders that we could not put a meeting on. The rest of Passover is fair game.
The other dates are during Passover as well, so
no,
we really kind of have a catch.
so that's the guy will throw us into May.
well, and you asked, does anybody have a problem?
I have no problem.
I have no problem.
Okay, all right, so it looks like April 25th, our next meeting. We received a request from State Senator Gonzalez regarding a restaurant applying for a liquor license, which fell within the 200-foot rule. And she was willing to, or asked us, she was willing to do a special law just for this restaurant so they can operate within the 200-foot rule. I looked at it and we discussed it via email. My feeling is that we shouldn't be making exceptions, because if we make one exception, you know for sure we'll be getting more exceptions. And this certainly does not live within the spirit and rule of the law in terms of new liquor licenses. So I'm not willing to entertain it. I indicated that to Jesus when it was brought up to me. And I'd like to get a feeling from the committee in terms of how we feel about special exceptions.
Who's the state assembly member, just for the record? Who brought it to you?
Kristen Gonzalez.
State Senator Gonzalez.
Matter.
I
What's-
feel that we,
I'm sorry, Paige? what?
Paige?
I'm sorry, I feel that we should abide by the law and stick to it, because as you've said, that we will have a numerous amount of people saying that I want an exemption, and most times it will not be for a good reason. It's not fair trade either. Like Give the other people a chance, you know.
I was a little surprised even that
Yeah, it seems
she
unusual.
would ask, it. Like, I've never heard of that.
Who's the applicant?
This is the
That's
first
what I
time
was
I've
the
wondering.
relationship?
ever heard.
What's the restaurant's name? Did we know that?
The applicant, they have a corporate name, so it's 415 Third Avenue Restaurant Group. So that doesn't really tell you very much other than where it is. It's 415 Third Avenue at the corner of Third Avenue and 29th Street. And while they haven't said that they're moving forward necessarily with this, they wanted to sort of take the temperature of the board to see what the board had to say before necessarily doing anything.
I think
Hey,
that,
Lucy, that's the former one that we had a lot of trouble with, was on the southeast corner of 29th Street.
I'm
Is
not. Can you bring up the?
Yeah.
And do you know who the principals are?
I'm not off the top of my head, but they've been there for 3 or 4 years now. I think, according to Yelp anyway, it seems like the establishment has closed.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's called Chick Inn, Kips Bay.
Oh, it's now Fumo. It's operating under Fumo right now. I walk by there.
That may still be the same corporate entity, even though the name has changed, but essentially, because it's within 200 feet of a church.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's on a corner, so it's actually on, that counts then both ways, 3rd and 29th.
I think with what happened with the mayor up in the Bronx, with one of the restaurants up there, just politicians asking for favors with these things, it's just not a good look, so I think we should avoid it. Generally.
Can we just do nothing? Can we just like ignore this, basically? Do
No,
we
I
have
think we should do something. We should say that we object to it.
It takes a ball.
Like, we
I
don't
don't know
change
that-
laws for.
No, my only hesitation is if it's kind of necessary, it's a little bit of a thumb in the eye.
But if she still pushes this through, I think that we
Yeah.
should be on the record that we
Yeah.
It
don't.
has to be on the record. They could take it as a positive that we want it to have that change. We should say we're not in favor of it.
And that's the sentiment of the committee, which should be verbalized or written to Senator Gonzalez.
Okay, and we'll let them know,
Yeah.
we'll let her office know.
You know, thank you very much for your concern, blah, 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 but we feel that it's not in the best interest of the
Inappropriate.
community
Yeah.
to make an exception.
Mhm.
All right, we'll let them know.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Sorry, Jesus.
Oh, no, it was not, it's,
You're
I'm.
No,
I
no,
just
I mean,
bring it
just
to the
having to
board.
be the bearer of bad news.
No, it's fine, it wouldn't be the first.
Has
Now, if
anybody-
it does move forward, the committee would probably want to pass a resolution or something like that.
Right,
But we tried to find out whether moving forward, but we haven't heard back, so.
okay. Any committee members have any further business?
I do.
Yes,
Um,
please.
One of the residents of the neighborhood went past a few of the places that was supposed to have a meeting, and we did not have it this month. There was no sign up that there was going to be a meeting in the window, which there should have been. They've not seen any signs for anything. They want to know why we don't let the community, which is one of our policies supposedly, to let the community know when there's going to be someone on our agenda.
I thought we did this by,
Brought up to Sandy also.
So what Paige may be referring to is that the liquor license applications don't have the little flyer in the window. So years ago, I think CB6 used to do this, and for some reason, it just sort of stopped. And I don't know why. When the cannabis applications came about, I suggested that it be brought back for them, given that all the interest in those applications. And we do that, and we give them the flyer to put up, and when we don't see that it's been put up, or we don't see them send us proof that it's been put up, we pursue that. We,
You print the flyer for them.
no, we send them a PDF of it and they print it themselves.
Right.
But we used to police these in the past, now we're not doing that.
Well, you know, just looking at the ones for cannabis, we need the committee's help to go and see if they're even there. I mean, the office is so stretched thin at this point, we can't be running around all over the district looking in the window. But if the committee will help, and if the committee will actually want us to keep doing this, then we can expand it to the liquor license applications. But the thing with the office is we already do, as you can see, with some community boards, we're, you know, in space and they're still in horses and buggies. We don't want to keep pushing light years and light years ahead because that stretches the office too thin.
Yeah.
If the committees, the members are also not going to really back us up.
Mhm.
So if the committee will pledge that they will start within their home turf, look and see if these signs are actually there. Because we ask the establishments to send us a picture of this thing in their window. There's nothing that says that they can't just rip it off right after. But if we can sort of do spot checks and unannounced, you don't even have to just walk by, literally. You don't even have to go inside. If the committee will do that, we can then expand it to the liquor license establishments, but we don't do it for the liquor license establishment.
I think we're all spread out in the CB6 area that some of us will
Yeah.
take responsibility for anything above 45th Street, somebody else between 45th and 23rd and 23rd. It doesn't matter.
Why
I
don't
have,
you ask the whole board to look? Make an
That'd be-
announcement to the full board and say, yeah, we're gonna need your help. Please help us out. We want to make sure that people come to our meetings and that we have proper representation.
That'd be great. I'd love that, but I don't have the power to impose that. You guys need to police yourselves. You guys need to raise your
maybe
voices.
we can,
Sure, it doesn't-
maybe we can bring this up at the next full board meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually wondering if it's worth going in the newsletter. Or would that get too much response?
It can't because we don't know who's gonna be on our agenda when they put the newsletter
Oh, I
out.
see what you mean. Yes, I see what you mean.
I think for checking to see whether these things are in the window, it's better for the committee to do it.
Mhm.
Because we also don't want to get like just random folks saying,
And it's
oh,
not that many.
Yeah.
Right, when, you know, the usual, I'll say, ones that have no issues, I usually say, fine, let's just do it. And the ones that come to the committee are the ones where we have some questions about. And for instance, this committee, we only had 3 to worry about. I don't think we've had more than 8 or 9 at any one time in committees, so if
Yeah,
we have questions about 4 or 5, I think
we can handle it.
we can handle that.
all right.
So long as we give it a few days.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the timing.
So typically what happens is we try to get to the chair of the committee 2 weeks before the actual meeting is gonna happen, a list of, okay, here are the renewals, here are new applications. It's anywhere from 1 to 2 dozen at that stage. And then they winnow them down to the ones that are just the ones that are desperately need to come in. And hopefully we try to ask for that to come back in about a week. And so then a week out from the meeting, that's when we tell any applicants, okay, we're asking you to come in, put this on your window, to send us a picture of it in there. You know, so that's a week's time. We can try and see if we can
Let's
inch
try.
that up,
Yeah,
inch
sure.
that up a little bit.
No, that's,
But, and in fact, Brian's gonna be away for a few days, so I might actually send Anton and Claire some applicants even sooner than I normally would, just to sort of get a head start on that stuff.
Sounds good to me.
So just to be clear, we will start sending these little flyers, and the flyers say, this establishment is applying for an X license. It will be at the next meeting of the community board, and it'll have the date, the time. it'll have a QR code in case someone wants to just sign up on Zoom.
Mm.
And they can just do it with their phone. And then, and we tell the applicants, we want this up on your window and after the meeting has happened, you can take it down. We want you to send us a picture with your questionnaire indicating that it's on there. And we reserve the right to check. But that's where you guys can do it at any time
Right.
you want, just happen to be walking by and you can let us know, hey, I didn't see it there. And we can even let you know, hey, the posters are out, they should be. Let us know.
I don't know. I remember when I was able to go out in the real world at the bus stops on those advertisements that they had on the bus stops. They used to have the meetings of the different community boards.
The
And
Link NYC.
Mhm.
If you mean the Link NYC, did we stop doing that? I don't remember. We can look into that. But we think that we wanted to bring back the flyers because while they're not huge posters, they're literally 8.5 by 11. You know, what better place to have something like that than the very place that it's gonna be at, and people walking by might notice.
What are the repercussions if we catch someone who's not adhering? Is it an
That's what you
automatic
guys have to
objection?
decide. That's what you guys have to decide. Initially, this applicant that withdrew, I flagged her because I flagged this person because I was like, I don't see a picture of their little flyer in their window. Did we get it? And I had Brian go in search, and that's when it came out, oh, they're withdrawing. But if they had not withdrawn and they just didn't put it, because it's not in the law that they have to, the committee has to decide what they intend to do, that's the case. It could be something like, you guys can sleep on it, obviously, but maybe something like, you know, the applicant did not adhere to community notice standards of the community or something like that. But which, you know, demonstrates bad faith or something, I don't know, but
I mean, it's not like not showing up, but it's.
right. But yeah, that's something you guys.
Liquor
Yeah.
license says that you have to be a good citizen or a good person. Like why to prove to the community board why we should recommend you, and so that is one of the reasons they should keep it up.
Yeah, but this and other like standards and policies of the committee, it's good to start thinking about those because, you know, with term limits coming up, a lot of that stuff, a lot of that knowledge is gonna be swept away. It's gonna be just the office that has it, and it's always better, and we're not immortal, obviously, so it's better that stuff be immortalized somewhere, written down, known by everyone, so that, you know, whenever we have the whole, the phone number thing and the contact information thing, that it's clear what's going on with all of that, so we don't have to be figuring that out in the meeting.
Do you know if other community boards are also requiring this or enforcing it?
I do not know. I can sort
CB3
of,
does.
Yeah, you
I've
definitely
gone through it
see it,
myself.
yeah.
They are very
hardcore.
very hardcore on it.
Hardcore. We're
CB3, East Village.
Yeah,
down
well, they have a lot to
Lower East
contend
Side.
with. They have a lot to contend with. So they're hardcore, but I can certainly ask and see, but it's something like this, I don't think it's that much of a hardship.
No.
If they don't have a printer, no one has ever told us that, but if they don't have access to a printer, we can print it to them and they can come pick it up. Or,
Yeah,
It's also, I think, an essential function of
yeah,
what the meeting is all about. The
Right.
public should be able to comment, know that,
And
have
notice.
notice.
yeah. I mean, we don't have like the resources to like identify all the addresses within a certain area and like blast out like, hey, this flyer is coming, you know, we don't have that ability.
and I mean, we do have, it is in our agenda, like what,
Yeah.
who's coming before us.
Yes, that's always on our website about a week out. And it's in our newsletter, but not everybody reads or subscribes to that. Whereas, you know, if you have a little
average
window
person.
thing,
Yeah.
you might stop by and you might notice.
Right,
You know, so
But
there's,
that's the most likely place that
Yeah.
people
Right.
are.
I mean, there are some community boards, I don't know if they still do it, but as, you know, pre-pandemic, they still used to send staff to like poles on the street and they
Yeah,
would
yeah,
paint the
yeah.
notices like, I'm like, I
I
feel like
don't-
Martin Luther or something. But I don't think we should, I think that's a bit much, but that's the way it used to be done. And I don't know that that's, the rain would come and soak them and everything like that. So I think in the window, we can look back into, Link NYC. I'm not sure if we still do that. But at the very least in the window, I think it's not a lot to
Yeah.
ask, but we need you guys, we need the committee's help. And I like, I've said this before, I like Paige's idea that the whole board should be involved. It's just in the past, whenever we've had group projects like that, the response has been tepid.
Yeah.
But that has to come from all of you, because I can't impose that.
Okay, motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
seeing no objections, the meeting is adjourned at 7:51 PM.
Happy Easter, anyone who celebrates Easter.
You too, Paige.